Hello, everyone, and welcome to week 4. This is a pretty important week in terms of transitioning into a new idea, which is called Movie Clip. If my memory serves me correctly, this exercise is going to sort of be a two-part video, just in terms of me remembering how long it's taken to record the tutorial here in the past. So 2 videos, as you've probably seen by the step-by-step, it's pretty extensive. Before I head into what this is about, I want to sort of talk about this idea of the movie clip. We've worked with graphics up to this point, pretty simple, red ball, green ball, orange box, whatever, and changed its properties to sort of make it animate in a specific way. What we're doing here is totally different. It's sort of a mix between the graphic and the frame-by-frame animation, which you did last week. The idea behind this and the idea behind a movie clip is to work with something that is going to allow you many opportunities to create more complex looking animations, but using the same movie clip. I always like to sort of imagine the movie clip is over here in the library sort of doing its thing. In this case it's going to be a bird flying, and then when we bring it out onto the stage it can be animated, it can be, the size can change, it can change direction, and we use the sort of movie clip, the very basic movie clip over here to work efficiently over here to create much more sort of robust animations. So hopefully that's going to make sense here in a minute. I have skipped ahead, as I often do sometimes, to a few steps. I have already imported this bird.jpg you'll see over here in the library. That's on D2L. You should have that in your library, and you use import file, import to library to get that in there. Okay, so I'm going to skip ahead to step 6. I'll probably go to, I think, step 37. Yes, 37 in this first video, and then we'll finish up in the second video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a new symbol. And despite all my talk about movie clips, I'm going to make this a graphic. And I'm going to name it bird graphic. I want to be very specific in my library so I don't mix up what these things are and what they look like. So I'm going to hit bird graphic. Then it says make sure you're on bird graphic. I can see that I'm here. This is an instance where we have to always pay attention to where we are. Okay. Remember, like graphics can have timelines. Your scene obviously has a timeline, so you got to make sure you know where you're at. I can see I'm in bird graphic by seeing the bird graphic right there. Then it says make sure you're on bird graphic and click and hold the bird JPEG in the library, dropping it into the bird graphic. Okay, so here is the bird image, and I'm going to drop it into bird graphic. Okay. It says with the selection tool, the black area, click on the bird .jpg so the blue bounding box appears. What this indicates is this is sort of a contained thing right now. Okay, I couldn't go in and erase parts of it. I can't really edit this thing. It's sort of it's just an image inside the graphic. It doesn't really allow us an opportunity to do much to it right now. We're going to change that here in a second. Okay. Let's see here. Step 10. Choose Modify Bitmap, Trace Bitmap. And I'm going to bring this up here. A window will appear, and it's showing these defaults of 108. That's okay. Before I sort of click OK, I want to sort of talk about what's happening here. This JPEG, as you probably can tell by the way it's labeled, JPEG, is an image. I talked at the beginning of the semester about the difference between Flash and something like Photoshop. Obviously, a big difference between those two is Flash is an animation program, Photoshop is a photographic program or imaging program. Another difference is the vector versus the raster. This is a raster graphic. It is sort of contains pixels, and that's why in this vector program we can't do anything to it right now. What we're doing, what this trace bitmap, sort of a fancy term for, is we're turning it into a vector graphic. Okay, we're taking the pixels and asking Flash to create vectors out of it. Okay, and that's a good thing because it's going to allow us to manipulate, change, deal with it in a totally different way. So I'm going to hit OK, and I want you to see what happens to this when I hit OK. First and foremost, we lose that blue bounding box and we get these dots. Okay, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit. These dots indicate that this is now a vector graphic. Okay. One thing about this vector graphic is that it still contains evidence of its, I guess, raster life. And that would be the white background. White pixels are still pixels, and we want to animate this thing. So we need to get rid of those white pixels. Okay. So it says click on the white background. The white background of the image to select it. What I'm going to actually do is click off of it and then click on this white area. You'll see that, and it'll probably be more clear on your screen, these sort of black and red pixels aren't selected. Okay, I can click on this and it'll get all that white stuff that made up the image. All I'm going to do is hit delete on the keyboard. Okay, what that does is sort of leaves these sort of drawn elements in this graphic for us. Okay, so excuse me, what we've done is simply take this graphic and turn it into a vector graphic. Okay, so these things are now kind of separate, you'll see, and I can move those around. That wouldn't have been the case when we had those sort of when we had that blue bounding box around it. Okay, now this next step is sort of where the movie clip comes into play. So what I'm going to do is step 14. I'm going to choose insert new symbol. And I'm going to name this, what does it say, bird movie clip. Again, organizing things. I need to make sure that it is actually a movie clip on that drop down menu. Okay. I'm going to hit OK. You'll see that I go into a new area in the library, and I can see up here I have a new sort of icon for the movie clip, which looks like this. And over here on the right hand side of my library, I can see I have bird graphic, I have bird movie clip, and I have bird.jpg. We're sort of moving from one to the other to get to the final product. Okay. So over step 16 it says go to symbol bird graphic, and using the selection tool, which is the black arrow, separate the three birds from each other. Okay, so I'm going to go back to this guy, and I'm going to sort of click hold and draw around this guy, and I'm going to move him over here. I'm going to click hold, and I'm selecting the portions, the sort of singular birds, to sort of separate them out. Okay, it's very important to where we're headed in the next step. So it says step 17, select the bird furthest to the left and choose edit copy. So by selecting, I draw around it, and you'll see I get those dots again. I'm going to go up to edit copy. Okay, and now it says go to the bird movie clip. Go to the bird movie clip, and this is where we're going to finally sort of deal with the timeline and deal with something that kind of looks like an animated element. It says choose edit, paste, and center. This is going to create a keyframe in the first frame of the timeline. Just before we do this, a movie clip has its timeline. That's sort of what's different about it. If you think about how we worked with, say, like Greenball, it doesn't have a timeline. It was just sort of one frame. It was over here in the library, and we animated it on the scene. This is different, and this is where it gets somewhat confusing. We have sort of what I'll call sort of a still of a bird flying over here, and then we'll animate him later. Okay, again, if this doesn't make sense, watch where we're sort of headed with this. So I'm going to choose edit, paste, and center. Okay, that just gets me down right in there in the center. And then it says position with the selection tool. The bird, so its beak, is on the center hash mark. What this is going to do is allow us to sort of have a sort of constant in terms of where this bird is going to be positioned in relation to the other birds that we're going to put down. Okay. Now, in order to sort of animate this thing, we need him to sort of last for a certain period of time. So what it says is go to frame 3 in the timeline and insert a keyframe. Okay, so you should be used to keyframes at this point. I want that keyframe to sort of, not a blank keyframe, but a keyframe, so that this bird sort of carries over 3 frames. Remember, we have 24 frames per second, so 3 frames isn't that much. But if you think about a bird flying, this guy's going to be moving, you know, at a nice little clip. Okay. Now, it says go to frame 4 and insert a blank keyframe. Probably see where we're going with this. Okay, we have that bird, and then we have the opportunity for a new bird. Okay, so double click on the bird graphic in the library. I'm on step 23 here, and select the bird in the middle. Go here, back out. This is the middle bird. I'm going to select him. and it says edit copy. Okay, we're going to go back to the bird movie clip. We're going to click, make sure we're on that keyframe. Okay, and we're going to edit, paste, and center. Okay, we want to position him about where the other one was, and we have the other one there. So what we can do is I can zoom into that and sort of see that yes, okay, I am approximately where the other beak was positioned. Okay, just like we did with the first bird, we're going to sort of give him some time on the timeline. So I'm going to go to frame 6. I'm going to insert a keyframe. Okay, so now we have bird 1, bird 2. Okay, it says go to frame 7. I'm on step 28 here. Insert a blank keyframe. Sort of, you can obviously see the process here. Go to bird graphic. Back out. I'm going to get the third bird. I'm going to copy. Okay. I'm going to go back to bird movie clip. Again, I can't stress enough to make sure you know where you're at. One of the biggest mistakes I see with Flash is often sort of doing things in the wrong spot. You might be doing it right, but you're not doing it in the right place. Okay. So it says, let's see here, we're going to go to the symbol bird movie clip, step 30, did that. Make sure we're on frame 7. That is correct. And I'm going to edit, paste, and center. I'm going to position him. I'm going to check him in relation to the other birds. Looks good. I am going to go to step 9, insert a blank keyframe. Or sorry, insert a keyframe. Go to step 10, insert a blank keyframe. And this is where it's going to get a little funny. Not a little funny, but what we're doing is we're creating a loop. So here we have a bird up, middle, down. If we think about a bird flying, the only thing we really need to do here is copy the sort of middle stage. Okay, so I have that middle stage right here. So that's why on step 35 it says go to frame 4, and we're going to copy this one. Okay, and now go to frame 10. And we're going to paste in place this time. Pasting in place puts it right back down where it came from. And then I'm going to go to frame 12 and insert a frame. Okay. I'm just inserting a frame. Okay, now I have up, middle, down, middle. And if you know from the sort of swifts that you've made so far, you'll know that Flash constantly wants to go back to the beginning of its timeline. So what it's going to do is it's going to cycle through here. It's going to go up, middle, down, middle, and then it's going to go directly back to here. Okay, so that is a complete circle of that bird. Okay. So that's creating the movie clip. That's steps 1 through 37. That's a good amount of stuff. What we're going to do here in a minute, and I'm going to stop the video and start a new one, is animate this one. Use the sort of what I call the efficiencies of the movie clip to sort of have multiple birds flying back and forth. So that's making the movie clip. There'll be a part 2 here in a second.